Around the world, governments and agencies are looking for secure, intelligent systems that can analyze sensitive data, power real-time decision-making, and strengthen national resilience. Joining me now is Luke Kowalski, Senior Vice President, to talk about Oracle's innovation in this space. Welcome, Luke.
Thank you so much.
And did I get your last name correct?
It is 100% correct. Thank you.
I'm so glad. Well, thank you for joining us. Well, Luke, let's start off right at the beginning. What does OCIR stand for, and how does it differ from traditional cloud deployments? And you can talk directly to me.
Sure. So the Oracle Cloud Isolated Region, that's the acronym. That's OCIR, and Oracle has a plethora. A very broad and deep variety and menu of clouds. Now, as opposed to a restaurant where you come in and a waiter plops down a 20-page menu, you don't want that. But I think in tech, with customers, they respond quite well to having choices, to having a cloud for every budget, and to having a cloud for every workload, including sensitive data and things that are used in defense and in the intel community. Now, the Oracle Cloud itself is already predisposed and well designed for highly sensitive workloads and data. So we have the separate control plane for the computers controlling the cloud, and we also have Zipper, which is the zero trust network architecture, which essentially isolates the network architecture from the policy side. And this gives you the sort of allowed and disallowed traffic paths. Now, the OCIR takes it up to 11, right? Above and beyond, because it isolates that particular cloud from the internet itself, which, you know, is full of people who are trying to wreak havoc with very sensitive data. And we've had ministers of defense, we've had four-star generals ask us, how can you call it a cloud if it's isolated from the internet? It's just a bunch of servers that are on premise. Well, not exactly, because in a lot of instances, we have this concept called the cross-domain system, and we have an air gap. So this cloud, which is processing highly sensitive data, is indeed isolated from the internet, but now and again, you need to update the software on it. So what we do is that we connect some series of servers to the internet, allow the patches to go through. Then we have a set of computers which validates and verifies that all of it is safe. And then we transport it across the air gap to the actual OCIR, where intel agencies and defense departments operate on that data.
Well, I was actually going to ask that, because so it is true, it isolates from the internet. I mean, that's really interesting. So let's talk about the data itself. How does AI fit into this picture?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the best use cases for AI, frankly, because what you so I'm going to disclose everything at this point.
Please.
And it's
breaking news right here.
It's highly restricted data, so the viewers at home may experience a sudden burst of green light from their webcams. I kid, but Oracle does not. We've always been unapologetic about the fact that we work with defense agencies, police forces around the world, and also various intelligence agencies. As a matter of fact, the company started in the late 70s and the early 80s with a project with the CIA, where it was all about the relational database for the purpose of analytics, right? So we've been at this business for a long time. When it comes to AI, these intel agencies and defense departments want to have, ideally, a union of public data and private data.
Right.
And what you want to have is that you want to be able to set up a lakehouse, similar to what Juan Loaiza was talking about, where you have the Apache Iceberg data lake. And this is where the confidential data goes in on the bad guys. These are things that nobody really should be looking at, right? And a lot of times it'll be unstructured data, where there isn't a schema there yet. And then you could have a union with the structured data that you sort of understand, or maybe data from the public internet. Because if you have just the public internet and the large language models, which learn, frankly, based on what somebody said on Reddit,
absolutely,
you don't want to be making go, no-go decisions or critical business decisions even for a non-defense sort of public sector customer based on the wisdom of the internet.
Right.
So instead, what you want to do is that, you want to make these tactical decisions based on private data. So it's not enterprise data, but it's sensitive data, which is in your private instance, and you can train LLMs on that.
So we're really helping these agencies, handle AI responsibly.
Exactly. And you get better results, you get more accurate information, and this union of public and private data and how you can intelligently process and do analytics on a private data lake and ingest the information, I think makes all the difference in the world.
Well, thank you for sharing that here with us and sharing it with our viewers. So can you share a few examples of how OCIR and AI are being used in real-world missions?
Absolutely. So one of the examples that I really love has to do with the U.S. Coast Guard. And it's used sort of for preventive maintenance purposes, right? So It's not always, battle-ready use cases. But in this particular situation, the Coast Guard has instrumented a bunch of sensors in the engine rooms of their flotilla. And what they do is that they can actually tell that something is on the verge of failing. And they can predict those failures and then replace the engines before they fail in the middle of a sensitive mission. Right? So the intelligence that you get is quite valuable in that instance. And then there are other projects which are a little bit larger and more ambitious, and one of them is the Oracle and the Golden Dome for America.
And the Golden Dome for America.
Yes, we're collaborating quite closely, and this is around protecting the nation from missile attacks.
Oh, wow.
And creating a shield essentially, which is a combination of cyber and physical and electronic, both defensive and counteroffensive measures. So I think really looking forward to it. But it's not just the US. For example, the Ministry of Defense in Singapore chose Oracle for its mission-critical command, control, communications, and compute resources. And they're using AI for their decision insights as well. And then going to where I sort of grew up, which is in Europe, you have NATO. And in this particular instance, it's the Communications and Information Agency. They selected Oracle for their cyber hub. So yes, I think you can see that some of the conflicts are sort of ground-based, but we should not forget about the cyber criminals and what they're planning.
Yes.
And I think NATO decided that the choices that we have in terms of the groundbreaking LLMs, which we're able to host in OCI, we have the biggest choice in terms of how many we can have, and then our database and our infrastructure and then our applications will serve them well in terms of the traffic.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, because you can see this is not just about the agencies, it's protecting people. And thank you for sharing that information with us and spending time with me. I mean, I think it's incredible to get the insights that you have to say and what AI is doing for our own protection. So thank you very much.